Welcome to another edition of tradeyourway.co.uk. It is Tuesday 25th of September. It's just gone 12:30. Currently looking at the dollar basket because we're going to look a little bit more detail at in a little bit more depth at the pound dollar as well. So just looking at the correlation between the two right now. The dollar basket, from what we're looking at here currently on a weekly time frame, it looks quite bearish. Just put a trend line there just to sort of highlight how we're making lower highs pretty much, well, over the years. Since going back to 2003, we've gone and had a little bit of a rally over the last few years from 2015, 2016. But this clear move down sort of suggested that well, we've been bearish longer term since. Let's see, where did this start? It back in at the start of 2017. So it's been going for best part of 2 years. We had a bit of respite to the upside. Didn't quite come down and hit the halfway mark, the 50% fib, before we went up. So I do feel that if this bearish momentum continues, and this is just a correction, a retrace up, then we should still eventually see the 50% retested, back down here to retrace 100%. So apply the 3-option rule. First one being that we retrace part of the way and find some support. So we look out for that. If it continues, then it should retrace 100%. And if it does that, that's option 2. Option 3 would be that it would actually make a new low, quite clearly test that 50% fib. So that's all on a weekly. If we drill down to daily, and then we'll flick over to the pound dollar to show you how the two are correlating quite nicely. You'll see here that on the daily, the high is 103.80. We've been down to 8795. As I say, that was February this year. Then we've had a bit of respite, a bit of a move up. Just looking at this current range, we have actually hit the 50 before bouncing off. And what we're looking to see now is, are we going to see another move up? So if we do see another move up to retest the highs, that will see the pound dollar and other currency pairs actually drop. Currently, they are seeing a bit of a move up since the pound dollar hit, I think, around 126, 127. We're looking at the moment. In a moment, what we're seeing now is that dollar basket is going down, so pound dollar is actually going up. And just to show you that in a little bit more detail, again we'll drill down just a little bit further to the 4-hour time frame, and the 4-hour will just show you again pretty much the price action, how it's moving within this current respite, this current bounce up that we've had from the low 8794 back in when was that? February 2018. So we're just seeing how it's currently putting in a bit of a bearish move. It's tested once, gone up, had another go to the upside, gone up, keeps hitting this bit of resistance up here around 9400, and it's having another move to the downside. So if it does have another move to the downside, we should see 9329 as the next target, which it hasn't quite hit yet. That is a 38.2, it's major support based on this current range. And this current range is 9600, so we're looking at about 860, just over 860 pips, this range, which is quite substantial. So it's a good range to sort of play around in. So first major downside target it needs to hit is 9330. So if we do get a third time retesting this low, which it looks like it's doing right now, we should actually see it hit. So that is a good target, 9330 area, which is not far off really. After that, we'll see if it makes a new low and starts going down further. But if not, that could be a signal for the pound dollar to actually reverse again and go back down. But right now, that's having a bit of a stab to the upside. So if I take you there to the pound dollar now, this is the pound dollar. This is the daily. It's not really showing you too much apart from the bullish momentum that we've had for the last few weeks. Last week we had a bit of a sell-off, first decent sell-off that we've seen all year really on the pound dollar. We our target to the upside was 133.17. I'll show you that in a moment, the reason why. But I said 133 would be, anywhere around 133 would be an ideal upside target if you were long from, say, the 130s when it broke above the last high. So going in anywhere here really to take it up was ideal. Now we're again applying the 3-option rule because it's making a retrace up. We want to see, is it going to sort of retrace 50% and then maybe drop off or hit one of the other fibs, maybe perhaps a 618, 61.8, and then maybe continue its down move. Or second option is that it's going to retrace fully 100%, which then perhaps leads to the third option of making a new high. Let's see that in a little bit more detail. If we drill down to a 4-hour time frame, we can actually look at how the trend is seeing it go up. We've had that sell-off from last week's Brexit to do with the Irish border, so we pulled back, but now it's starting to slowly climb and give it all back. That 133.17 target that I told you about to the upside, there it is, the 38.2, first major fib resistance. I've said that it's still valid, still in play. Clearly we're still having a move up for it. It's a little bit tricky now because before we had a pretty much straightforward bullish momentum. Then we had this impulsive move, so now we're in a correction phase. So impulsive and corrective, so it's going to correct, but just how much of this correction is it going to do? It should retrace 100%. But again, the journey, how long is it going to take to get there? Will it faff around? Will it go back down and then go back up? So I'm just going to keep an eye on it for a few days. Perhaps even today we might see some momentum that takes it all the way back up to 133.17. If it does that, potentially that's a good area to sell from. So again, just going to keep an eye on it. I'm not quite ready to see whether or not it's going to take anything long or see whether we should take anything short. I don't think the setup's quite there yet. It's just a little bit messy. If I drill down a little bit further, I'll just show you why. That's the move that we've had since mid-August, and you can see that we did retrace to the 38.2 bang on, so 130.55, and then we bounce off there. So it looks like it wants to do the retest to the upside. So I want to see whether it starts getting a bit choppy now that it's retesting the last swing high. It's made a new high, so it could be a good place for it to drop back down again. But we'll see. If it breaks on up, it could just carry on going up and retesting 133, 133.13 being the target. If we just look at this move that we had here last week, this sell-off caused by the whole Brexit situation, that's just showing you the current range from around 130.50s up to just shy of 133. So it's about a 250 pip range. We've been using the 38.2 as support. We've bounced off that. We're now going to test the halfway mark. So, this is why when looking at a slightly smaller time frame, looking for an entry, this is why when I was looking at pound New Zealand, it was the same sort of thing. We've retraced in about halfway of this move to 50%. It's the same sort of setup on the pound New Zealand. What with the dollar basket going down, this is trying to go up. Dollar basket's got imminent support at the 38.2. This has got imminent resistance at the 50%. Could it be a time to maybe buy the dollar basket back up? Could it certainly be a time to sell the pound dollar back down again? Again, just going to watch and see if the signals are right, if it all just sets up. But it's good to sometimes watch the correlation between certain instruments to see how one's moving and if the other is following it, doing the opposite, like magnets, opposites. Then it could help to justify taking the trade. So we'll leave it there, and we'll monitor over the next day or two and see if we can find a suitable setup.